Good morning, beautiful people. I hope you are having a wonderful day so far. Today, I want to talk about two seasonings and how they might be able to help you with your fat loss and your mental health. Crazy, right? The seasonings I'm talking about are saffron and cinnamon. Saffron is extremely underrated and has a ton of health benefits, and cinnamon does too. Now, this is for cinnamon, you can just eat it as cinnamon. Don't mind me, I just have my blackberries with honey and cinnamon because we're training right after I woke up. I never do this, and I don't like to train fasted. I like to get my carbs in. This is glucose and fructose, so it's going to, one, digest faster, and two, the energy is going to last me longer. Three, tastes amazing. The cinnamon is just there for the taste as well. The thing that's nice about cinnamon is I was already drowning all my food in it, and now I'm just finding out there might be some health benefits to it. Sick. But yeah, so cinnamon and saffron. First, we'll talk about saffron because there's a lot more evidence for it. And there's also a lot more possible health benefits. The main ones are health related, mental health, and specifically around depression and anxiety. So they've compared it in a couple meta-analyses. There's meta-analyses and umbrella reviews. There's a ton of data looking at saffron, comparing it to SSRIs and to placebos on depression symptoms. And so a lot of these, it's tough to really tell if it's having a big effect because you're using subjective measures. It's basically questionnaires of asking people how they feel after taking it for a certain amount of time. But what they've found is on a fairly consistent basis that there's no difference in depressive side effects when comparing SSRIs, which are antidepressants if you didn't know, and saffron, which is crazy to me because SSRIs suck to be on. I've been on them for like 9 years now. And honestly, I found out about this at a perfect time because I'm just now starting to go off. It's important to note that that doesn't mean that it's super effective, but there aren't any negative side effects that we know of that we've seen with saffron versus with SSRIs. There's a lot of negative side effects, especially after long-term use. So definitely something to consider. And then as well, there's a couple of studies comparing it to, I believe Ritalin is the one that they compared it to with ADHD. And they found the saffron was just as, if not more effective. And specifically, there's a patented form called Afron. It's a saffron extract. That's the one that I recommend. I'll link it in the bio, the one that I take, the one that I just ordered. I literally ordered it last night. Watch how new this is. Well, I'm putting it all on. And then there's other sort of health benefits from saffron that have been found, mainly cognitive, but some even mechanistically think that it might help a little bit with your gut and with your metabolism and the fat loss, which is kind of interesting, but I wouldn't expect it to move the needle much. And the same thing with cinnamon. So cinnamon is actually, there's a meta-analysis done on its efficacy and safety in treating obesity. And they found with a low degree of certainty that seemed to reduce body weight and BMI. So, and it looks like you need to take about 5 grams per day of cinnamon. And the quality matters here. There's always limitations, right? There's different species of cinnamon and it'll tell you which one they are. They don't tell you which species they're using. And there's a lot of heterogeneity, which just means that a lot of the studies are set up very, very differently. There's heterogeneity of the study design, but then there's homogeneity in the population. And that's a lot of the problem with saffron as well. And homogeneity in the population just means that it's basically the same populations that they're using. So with saffron, it's like they're always using depressed people or people with depression, people with anxiety, or actually, PCOS is another one that saffron looks to be good at helping with. So that's cool. And with cinnamon, the homogeneity is that it's mostly obese people, overweight and obese people, or people with type 2 diabetes, which again is mostly overweight and obese people, almost exclusively, actually. This is just gonna be a quick video because that's really all I have to say. It's just crazy to me that there's these two seasonings that are, I mean, obviously saffron, you need to have, I think it was 30 grams. So you need the saffron extract, you need to get Afron. And then, but cinnamon, getting 5 grams of cinnamon in a day is pretty, you can put 5 grams of cinnamon in a meal. I think I put 3 on those berries. So you might as well. And with the Afron, it's also not very expensive. I think I got 60 or 90 servings for like $27 off of iHerb. And that's third party tested. Please, for the love of God, get third party tested supplements. That is one of the big things. They actually did a study on the quality of saffron supplements, and they found that I think it was close to 50%, if not more than 50% of saffron supplements are not actually don't have any saffron in them. So that's the important thing too, is make sure you're getting quality supplements. I personally do not recommend using Amazon to get supplements unless you're getting it from a trusted source. Don't just go on Amazon and look for the cheapest supplement that you can find. Find one that is third party tested at a minimum. And iHerb is normally a better source. In terms of price, iHerb normally has some pretty cheap stuff as well, and it ships pretty quick too. You're getting more reliable sources, and you just have to wait a little bit longer, and you might have to pay a tiny bit more money. But this is your health that you're talking about. And personally, I would rather pay a little bit more knowing that I'm actually getting what I'm getting than pay a little bit less for what could be nothing, what is probably nothing. So that's my thoughts on the matter. And, or I guess weird supplements that most people don't really talk about that I think have some form of efficacy. And the first is berberine. So berberine is a plant extract, leaf extract, and we have some studies on it. A lot of people hate on berberine. Berberine gets a lot of hate, but there's a lot of cool things that berberine has been shown to maybe do. And the first major one is as a fat loss supplement. There's a ton of data on berberine. Supplements have so much data. It's genuinely kind of insane, especially the fat loss ones like apple cider vinegar as well. Those are the two main fat loss supplements that have quite a bit of data on them. If you look at the meta-analyses and the umbrella reviews, if you don't know what either of those are, a meta-analysis is just a collection of studies about one thing. And then an umbrella review is a collection of meta-analyses on that one thing. So hence the umbrella. They're trying to cover in a very wide range. And we have those on both berberine and apple cider vinegar, but I'll talk about berberine more first. Berberine seems to have less of an effect than apple cider vinegar, but it does have a significant effect when compared to placebos and when compared to just other dietary interventions. Now, of course, the thing with fat loss supplements is it's never going to replace a calorie deficit. It's never going to replace healthy habits. It's never going to replace moving more and resistance training. But that doesn't mean it's not useful. That doesn't mean it might not have a synergistic effect, is what we'll say, with your essentially calorie deficit, right? And berberine has been shown in studies, even in double-blinded, placebo-controlled studies. Double-blind means that both the researchers and the participants don't know what group they're in. And placebo-controlled is just one group is getting berberine or whatever the supplement is. The other group is getting a placebo. Both of these berberine has been shown to show significant decreases in both BMI, waist to hip ratio, waist circumference, body weight, blood lipid markers. So your cholesterol, HDL, LDL, have shown improvements on it. And these are all minor. They're not huge improvements, right? If they were, then everyone and their mom would be taking berberine and doctors would be prescribing it out the wazoo. This is not nature's Ozempic that I'm talking about here, okay? These are some things that you might consider throwing in to a fat loss phase if you have the extra money and you're just willing to kind of throw it in there. And so, yeah, there have been small studies. It's not your silver bullet, but it might help out. And apple cider vinegar is essentially what the conclusion I've come to. But I used to be very anti-apple cider vinegar because I was like, what the fuck is it actually doing for anyone? But it appears like it might be doing things. It appears like it actually has an effect. The most recent meta-analysis from 2025 actually found a small effect. And again, these small effects that they're finding when I'm talking about it is like a couple kilograms. And these are when you look at it as a percentage of total body weight lost, it's very, very, very small because we're talking about a couple kilograms being shaved off an obese person or being shaved off of an already overweight person. So as a percentage of the total body weight, it's not very much. But again, it's one of those things of maybe you just do a little shot of it in the morning. I know it tastes like shit, and I haven't publicly been against it, but I have been against it for a very long time. And I might start, I don't know if I'm going to personally start taking it, and the mechanism is something to do with the malic acid. But yeah, those are the 4 weird kind of supplements that might help you out on your fitness journey. Berberine, apple cider vinegar for weight loss, and then for mental health, saffron, and then maybe weight loss for cinnamon. So yeah, that's all I got for you. Peace.